Alright, welcome everybody to Squared Circle Boxing. I'm here with Uncle Toe. Come on.
What we got, Ralph? What go on?
Listen, first things first. Why the fuck do you support Tottenham?
I've always supported Tottenham, well, since a young lad, you know. I was brought up a Bulls fan, funny enough. So
Yeah.
from the end.
Yeah.
But then obviously I think it was like from the early 80s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I started supporting Spurs, Ricky Villa, you know what I mean? Oswald, Alziles, Glenn Hoddle,
Yeah.
Brian Roberts, all them people then, man, yeah. So I've been a Spurs fan ever since, you know. Come on, you Spurs.
Why did you lot start celebrating after 3 games in?
This boy, man, this boy. It was 10 games, man. It was 10 games, man.
3 games in, you
Sure,
lot were
man.
holding
Hey,
hands.
listen, we did
Holding hands, celebrating,
We
doing
did not
laps.
celebrate. We were just loving the football. That's the problem with you Arsenal boys. You know what I mean? You know, you just look for something for Spurs.
Yeah.
Spurs fans to try and hang on to.
Yeah.
And try and run
Alright,
with it. We weren't celebrating. We knew it's going to be a long season. And we are where we
Yeah.
are. We are where we are. But give us a couple of seasons on the big end.
Yeah.
We are the team.
So I'm going to quote the great Floyd Mayweather. Once said, "Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie." Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember that saying?
Uh-huh.
Who's top of the league? Who's top of the league?
This way. Cut the transmission. I don't even hear about Arsenal.
Who's top of the
If-
league?
If you just put me on here, talk about Arsenal, I'm gone.
Top of the league. Listen, numbers don't lie, Unc, yeah?
Listen, it's not gonna be for long. You know the right. You know, like, Arsenal, like, you know,
Yeah.
my favorite pudding, apple crumble. They always crumble. They always, and like, you know, they're always broccoli. You know, they're the famous Arsenal. You know,
Listen,
South London won it. They're always bollocking.
Don't get me started on Spursy, yeah? But alright, listen, let's talk boxing. Let's talk boxing now, because
okay,
obviously
okay.
you're a big boxing man now,
Yeah,
and
man.
obviously this is supposed to be boxing content. Me and you can chat shit all day long.
Okay, man, don't worry.
So I've seen Ben since the amateur days. You know, when he was fighting the likes of Reece Lewicki, and what a lot of people don't know is that Ben did his dancing, didn't he? And that was partly down to yourself. Am I right in saying that, or?
I wouldn't even say it was down to myself, you know what I mean? Again, he was brought up, you know what I mean? When he started boxing, he was brought up, you know what I mean, to learn to sort of like manage his feet, you know what I mean? My first thing with him was to control his feet. I got him to move around, I got him to dancing. He even went to sort of like dancing school.
Yeah.
He went to ballet, he went to street dance. He was always good on his feet in that context. And he's kind of like amalgamated that to the fighter he is. When he first came into boxing, he was quite laden-footed. He wasn't really a boxer. He was just learning the basics, getting used to boxing.
Yeah.
You know, because he was all feet, and then he started to use his hands, and then he himself amalgamated the two. You know what I mean? We didn't really do that for him. He amalgamated himself. So, you know what I mean? He obviously sort of watched the greats. You know what I mean? The Pernell Whittaker'S, the Roy Jones, and people like that, and then he sort of like just brought it on himself, and he sort of loved the old Cubans. You know what I mean? He used to like, you know, study the Cuban style of boxing. I think that's where he gets most of his style from, really.
You mentioned the Cubans. I don't want to mess up his name, but it's the guy that beat Amir Khan in the 2004
Mario Kinderlin.
Athens, Mario Kinderlin.
Yeah, that was Ben's favourite boxer.
Yeah.
It was Ben's first boxer he actually ever watched. You know, we actually went on holiday somewhere, and Ben actually sort of like, you know what I mean, his first sort of like clock was actually that final. You know what I mean, that Amir Khan, Mario Kinderlin final.
Yeah.
And I think he just took notice of Mario Kinderlin from that day, you know what I mean, and if he was going to box like anybody, he was going to be similar to Mario Kinderlin. He obviously loved Ring Dow as well, and loved other fighters along those ilk. So I think he's sort of like, if it came to sort of like a style, that's the kind of style that he wanted to sort of like portray, not sort of like a guy that's just going to stand there and type of style. So.
And it's interesting you talk about the legends. His namesake, almost the Whittaker name is royalty in boxing. So it's almost like we've got yeah, like a second coming almost.
Yeah, it was like it was written really. To
Yeah.
me. I think when he was first born, I think I wanted to call him Per now as well. To be fair. His mum told me, no, that name's not going to happen. It's like I kind of like foresaw what was going to happen, but but at the end of the day, Ben's a decent name, and obviously he's doing his thing now, and he's obviously setting his own pathway really, rather than trying to follow everybody, which a lot of people are thinking that he's doing. People are thinking he's been the next Nas, or he's been the next this. Ben's just been Ben. He hasn't really like watched anybody till the point where he's tried to sort of like mimic their moves. He's just like being himself. He's obviously watched fighters, but he's actually then basically sort of like made his own way and his own styles.
I've seen a lot of comparison being made to Naseem Hamed and similar to the way Naseem Hamed used to fight, but having seen Ben operate from an early age in the amateurs, and a lot of people think it's a hype train, or I don't think personally for me, having seen him and been around the amateur scene, I don't think it's hype.
No,
that is his talent, right?
Yeah,
that's his
right.
style.
It's just him. A lot of people think that he tries to mimic the likes of the Naseem, but you never really watched Naseem. What I mean? You very rarely ever watched Naseem. It's only recently, you kind of like watched his ring walks. You never actually watched him as a fighter.
Yeah.
Even up to this day, he's hardly ever watched him as a fighter. So when people said that, he's trying to copy Nas, it's not. It's just being him. And like I say, if people are trying to sort of like say he's like him, it's an honour from us also, because he's one of the best ever, come out of these shows. So that is an honour itself. But he's not trying to be another person. He's just being the best in the penalty.
And I think he's spoken about it similar to people think it's flashy and it's almost disrespectful, but yourself, and I know that's just his style. He was doing that in the amateurs. I remember he was fighting the Russian guy.
The
Russian guy.
Yeah, the semi-final of the Olympics. He was making him, mismaking him play. Again, in this sport, everyone has their own opinions, as you well know, and everyone has their own opinions. Nobody can really tell anybody anything really. If you feel that way inclined, that's entirely to you. But Ben does what he does, and he doesn't try and put it on. Fair enough, he can box. He can box serious. He can box with that playful exuberance that he's got, with that skill factor. But Ben has got many facets to his armory. He can box, in so many different ways, and because of that, he's where he's at the moment. Everyone wants a piece of him. Everyone wants to watch him.
And this is what I mean. He was doing it in the amateurs, and for me, the Olympics is the best of the best in boxing, right? Because let's be honest, a YouTuber can get a license and do a pro fight, but to get to the Olympics, it's a different ball game, and he was doing that in the Olympics, and that's a testament to his confidence, his skills, and his abilities. Knowing that he can do it against the best fighters in the world.
Even to qualify for the Olympics, and probably like the GB, the GB team as it stands at the moment will tell you it's one of the hard, and the previous GB teams previously before, and will probably tell you that even qualifying for the Olympics from the European section is probably one of the hardest things you could ever do as an amateur, let alone qualifying and then becoming a megalist. It's one of the hardest things to do in boxing, let alone in sports and boxing. So with regards to sort of like him being people think he's just a showman, or he can't box, or he can't fight. You try and go into the Olympics and see how hard it is.
And
it's a different kettle of fish.
What are your thoughts on people wanting to see him against a higher level of opposition, such as the Buatsi, the Yards of the division? Because let's be honest, the 175 is a stacked division, right?
It's a stacked division, and then eventually Ben will come across these guys and fight these guys. It's inevitable. Mm-hmm. It's not like we were hiding, we're rushing, but Ben's obviously just started up his career. He's only 6 fights in. He will get there, But again, I think we've got a tendency in this country to rush at the good fighters and to sort of like make them jump before they can swim. Fair enough, you can get there, fight there right now, and then where does it go from there? Like I said, the division at the moment is stacked, and everyone's looking to fight upwards, not downwards. So at the end of the day, if he does fight one of them guys, the other set of guys aren't going to want to fight him anyway, because they're going to want to fight the Bivels and the Turvievs. So it's so stacked up there. So while he's actually sort of like fighting at the moment. He's learning. He's fighting like guys who are, you know what I mean, going up the levels like our Ben is, and we're happy with where he's at the moment.
And do you think a fight against Whittaker'S, because I know they used to train together in the GB setup,
Yeah.
and you know they're all sparring partners, but I've got a name actually for you, and they're in the same division. He's similar level, not quite as an amateur pedigree such as Ben, but he's also done very well in the amateurs. Ezra Taylor, Ezra the Cannon Taylor, out of Nottingham. What are your thoughts on a? Because they're both similar, the same weight class, you know, same sort of level in terms of where they are in their career.
Yeah.
What
He's just won silver Commonwealth, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good lad. Like I said, know him, know his coach. Like he's been down to spar Ben, like when from the amateurs.
Yeah.
Nice guy. His coach, I've got a lot of time for him. Like I say, if that fight happens, done it, you know what I mean, in the past, that'd be something we'd absolutely love. But let them both build, let them both get like, you know, to a certain level, and make them have a big bag in the table for it. Yeah, but we don't run from anybody. We don't.
Love that.
Like I said, Ben isn't fearful of anybody in this division, to be fair. So that is somebody that, you know what I mean, isn't really, you know what I mean, somebody we're looking at, you know what I mean, right about now, because it's a different network, different platform. I can't see them sort of coming over to us to fight, but it will happen eventually. You know what I mean? If somebody puts a bag on the table, it's something that we can definitely do.
And just to finish up, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know.
Come on, Arsenal boy, man. Come on.
Sorry. Listen, we'll come on to that anyway.
Yeah, man. We're man. Come on, man. Hurry up.
Could you give a shout out to Recipes by Rahi? My cooking team. Recipes by Rahi. Go on.
Recipe Rise.
Come
you know,
on.
Bomb diggity. You know what I mean? I love your food. I love the way you make things. You know what I mean? Listen, I want some of that sugar. You know what I mean? So next time you come here, if you don't bring none, I'm not doing no more interviews with you, man. You know,
I got you. I got you. Look. It's a handshake. I got you in the food. Love, come on.
Let's get it. Let's do this week's show, and you'll see another perfect performance by Ben, hopefully.
Love.